It's Friday, November 22nd. Today I'm in the center of La Paz, Bolivia. This is the real dictatorship. That's what many Bolivian citizens said yesterday. And it wasn't just marchers. A procession began in Sencata, which is the area of the city of El Alto, where citizens are taking direct action against the coup and participating in a strike and maintaining roadblocks in the vicinity of the Sencata gas distribution plant against the coup here in Bolivia. It was outside of this plant where a military police operation took place on Tuesday, or what should now be remembered as the Sencata massacre. 8 people were killed on Tuesday, according to the Defensoria, which is the People's Ombudsman, but witnesses say that the number is much higher and that people's bodies have actually been disappeared, that they were kidnapped. The procession, which was held yesterday, was in honor and to mourn for the victims of the massacre, with coffins leading the march down throughout the city of El Alto and down to La Paz. They walked with demands including the resignation of Jeannine Anez. They want sovereignty over Bolivia's natural resources, most notably lithium. They do say that this is about lithium. They want an end to repression by police and military. They ask that the police and military join the struggle of the people. Sencata residents were joined by thousands of people from throughout the city of El Alto along the route, and also by communities of North Potosi, another part of the country. There were, all along the route, people supporting the march. They handed out water and drinks. There's actually some noise starting now, so there might be a protest coming down the way down to the city now. But that protest yesterday entered the city, was destined to arrive at Plaza Murillo, but was stopped by repression. Police and military came down with armored vehicles and chased people down on motorcycles as well through these small, narrow roads, such as this way. They also launched tear gas from inside and from on top of buildings, so the peaceful march didn't really have much of a chance. I myself came down to La Paz towards the back of the march, as I had been filming up in El Alto and had found myself in the chaos upon reaching Plaza San Francisco. The deaths and the repression will now spur even more outrage, as many of those who were repressed were women and older adults. The roadblocks are maintained all around the city of El Alto, with many people still on strike there. The direct action at the gas plant is maintained up in Sencata, and the Minister of Defense has warned that it could raid the gas plant at any moment in order to get fuel down to La Paz. It's important to note that people have not been taking up arms, and they're not coming down to the city marching armed, as people have said on social media. That's purely a rumor. At most, we've seen people throw stones in Sencata and Cochabamba during confrontations with police. The right wing is also harping on this line that indigenous people, campesinos, and some of the miners we see are using dynamite. This is also false, though they've used some very basic pyrotechnic noisemakers. There's no evidence that they could be using any type of explosives, and all of these talking points seem to be a fabrication and an attempt to criminalize movements and working people who are calling for the resignation of Senator Jeannine Anez, who has, of course, self-declared herself president. There are journalists trying to counter these narratives here, and they're also being hunted and blacklisted into silence at best. At worst, we've seen the arrest of at least one journalist who's being accused of sedition for his independent reporting on what's been going on. The international media outlet Telesur, largely based in Venezuela, in which many of you may know me from, was also abruptly taken off the air by the state telecommunication company Entel. People had been telling me that this and other international media outlets are the only ones telling the truth about what's happening. Independent and grassroots outlets are the only ones working to dismantle the sea of lies, which is calling regular working class citizens narco-traffickers and trying to tie the movement towards socialism party, and campesinos to dissident FARC, which is, part of the completely baseless lies being spread throughout social media and throughout the mainstream media. They're doing this in order to consolidate the coup against Evo Morales, which began years ago, but which was just consolidated on Sunday, November 10th. That's all for now. This is Camila Escalante reporting for MintPress News in La Paz, Bolivia. I'll have way more for you soon. Until then, follow me on Twitter at Camila Press.